What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Brown Gen. It's been a long time since I've given you guys a portfolio update for my IBC token. I think this is really important because a lot of content creators and a lot of Twitter, Threadzords, and whatever, they're never going to be transparent and honest with you about what's going on. If you guys know anything about me, I have always preached prioritization over everything and making sure that you make decisions that are based on a good reward to risk ratio. So, that being said, we're going to get into it. But before we do, make sure that you remember I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research. And if you want to join a community that sort of helps each other, where you get to cut through the noise and hear exactly what you got to do, well, that's the Web3 Secret Society. Link in the description below. So before I even unveil the next sort of slide, I just want to say one thing. What I'm about to show you is not something that makes me very comfortable. In fact, it was probably one of the toughest decisions I've had to make this cycle, but it's like ripping off a Band-Aid, and I really should have done this much sooner. I have been avoiding it. And what I'm going to tell you is basically what I've done. If you choose not to follow, I'm not saying that you're wrong, and I'm not saying anything bad about what I'm about to tell you, but I'm going to explain my thought process. And if you sort of choose to go with it, cool. If not, hey, we can agree to disagree on the approach. My number one priority here is to maximize how much money I leave this bull cycle with. And to do that, obviously you got to make tough decisions, especially when, you might get attached to certain tokens or protocols. So let's kick it off with Cosmos. So Cosmos is actually a token that I was buying, even at like $20, $30 last time. And it was probably the token that I was almost like stuck in during the bull market, like during that last drawdown. I had gotten out of like 80 to 90% of my ETH position. I had gotten out of 80 to 90% of my Bitcoin position, but I had 100% of my Cosmos position. And I thought, hey, it doesn't matter. It's going to recover. It's going to do fantastic. And I got a ton of rewards over the drawdown. I was buying it at I think it was like $6 or $7 at one point during the bear. And I became green on my position, right? I had 500, 600 tokens across a couple wallets. But here's the sad reality. If you take a look at this, even right now, when Bitcoin hit all-time highs, it's still Atom has had a real struggle. There are 3 tokens in this cycle that have done horribly, absolutely horribly from the past. The first one is Cardano. Well, the first one is XRP. The second one is Cardano. And the third one is Atom. And it doesn't matter how much I like it. It doesn't matter how much I feel attached to this token. The right move right now for me is to take the funds in Atom and put it over into something else that will earn me revenue right away. And for me, that is Celestia and that is Dimension. And I have been very clear with you guys on my opinion here. Yes, Celestia did see some massive appreciations before, right? It was $2 and it went up all the way to 20 and it's drawn down. And yes, the sort of total supply of Celestia, there's a sort of 5 to 6x to go from the circulating supply, whereas Atom, it's literally the total supply and circulating supply are the same. In case of Dimension, same thing. It's about 5 to 6x, but Dimension also seen a bit of a drawdown. Now, I'm going to explain my rationale here and sort of, like I said, I am not here to tell you guys I'm not here to tell you guys what to do, right? Far from it. I want to show you guys what I'm doing and walk you through my thought process, and the final decision is up to you. Because remember, every single one of us, this is our money, right? Every single one of us worked hard to get the money that we have. So I want you guys to feel comfortable with whatever decisions you make, And I think information is so critical to making those decisions. So I've been very transparent. I think Atom actually from a tokenomic standpoint is way better, right? Like it's just like you can't argue with it, right? Way better from a tokenomic standpoint. From a tokenomic standpoint, Celestia and Dimension are terrible. But from a momentum and a technology perspective, they're so much more superior. And given that we're in a bull market versus a bear market, in a bear market, I would rather have Atom because of that. But in a bull market, I would rather have Celestia and Dimension. So here's an example of one wallet. So this is from before. I haven't refreshed it, but here's a wallet where I have 100 Atom staked, 66 with Stakecito, 33 with Prism, right? And what I wanted to do was I'm like, well, I want to make a move right away. So one of the things, maybe some people don't know about is even if you've staked your Atom, you're actually able to withdraw it right away. And I'm going to show you how you can do that if you're interested in it, of course, because there are some costs to doing so. But in my opinion, once again, it was next to nothing. So what you got to do is you've got to go to Stride Zone. And in Stride Zone, you're actually able to, when you click on Atom and you go here, you're actually able to click on that button to go pull from natively staked balance. This is a screenshot. That's why I can't do it because I've already done this. But basically, then it shows you, well, okay, great. You can pull from a natively staked balance of 100 Atom. You can select from Stakecito or Prism or whatever. In fact, you can see here when I pick Stakecito, I can type the amount I want in, and it'll give me an equivalent amount in ST Atom. Now, one thing you should know is the conversion rate from ST Atom to Atom is like pretty, it's big. And if you're wondering, okay, well, great, if you have ST Atom, like, what are you going to do with that? Well, what you do is once you've done the swap, and in this case, you see here, I have moved the Atom over in both cases from both validators to ST Atom. I would then go to Osmosis Zone. Now, let's say you're on Stride Zone and you're doing this, right? You sort of say, hey, like, I want to get rid of, my staked Atom. I want to make it into liquidity because I want to buy something. Maybe it's not even this, but you want to know how to do it. You select the token. So I select Stakecito. I select all 66, whatever, click liquid stake. It'll go through the conversion. As you're going through it, it may fail due to lack of one specific token. And that token is ST Osmo. So I put the link to Osmosis Zone. You may need to get this token into your wallet. Like having 0.5 of it is fine to do whatever you need to do for the next couple years, I think, because it only uses a fraction of it. But doing that will let you pull both of these. And once you do that, you can then trade your ST Atom for Atom. Now, I want you guys to be very clear here. I had 100 Atom, and now I'm getting that back 97.7. So I lost 2.3 Atom during doing this, which is 2.3%. And in my opinion, that's an insignificant number, especially considering my next move was to swap all of that directly into Dimension, which has taken a price cut. Remember, Atom hasn't really gone up. It's sort of traded flat, whereas Dimension and Celestia were going up. And not just that, we also know, if you remember my video from the other day, that Dimension airdrops are plenty and they are coming. They're knocking on the door. So this is sort of what I'm, before I want to make this video for you guys right now. After this video is done, I'm going to stake this on this wallet just so I have another earning potential, as I mentioned. But remember, there are so many airdrops coming for Dimension and Celestia stakers. And the reason that I prefer this, right? So if we go back, let's go back to December. In December, I had Atom, Injective, Kajira, Juno, Stargaze, Osmo, like literally so many more tokens staked. I have unstaked and sold off everything now but Celestia and Dimension. I may have some of those tokens sitting in wallets that are not staked, but they're not significant amounts anymore because I'm really focusing on airdrop farming the maximum out of the best tech in the this space. And the best tech is the one that's the most adoptable, and that is sort of the modular technology from Celestia, the roll-ups with Dimension. Obviously, the bet has paid off very well because this is exactly what we're seeing here. And for those of you who are wondering about Pyth, I made a video about a week ago talking about how I've unstaked all my Pyth. I think I should be able to claim it tomorrow, in fact. In an ironic twist of fate, for those of you wondering about Pyth, I actually earned more Pyth from using an injective protocol than I did from staking Pyth, right? Every time I staked Pyth, they just said, hey, here's more homework. Here, go do this activity. Go put $20 in this protocol. It literally didn't give me anything. Like staking Pyth was just signing up for more work and not really getting anything out of it. I got Amber token and then found out from Nabla Finance yesterday, oh, Amber token is never going to have a value. It's going to be soulbound. So they're going to take a snapshot later. You know what I mean? And I think Easy Street's asking, if you're a whale, I heard you got to be in the top 10K. Yeah, that happened for Wormhole. But like literally, like what's the point of doing that? Like what I'm going to do with Pyth is the value of my Pyth token has tripled. So I'll just sell it. And, I sold the Pyth I earned. I got 300 Pyth yesterday for using the Helix app on Injective, which is another sort of IBC protocol. Way more, like that's way more than I ever got staking Pyth. So I don't mess with that. The things I stake right now, I'm staking 5 things. I stake Ethereum with Eigenlayer, which I showed you guys. I stake Celestia and Dimension, which is an IBC. I staked Polygon because I think when they do the rebrand in Pol and they're sort of having that layer, I think it's going to add a lot of airdrops. And then finally, I stake Ronin. And the reason I stake Ronin is because on sort of the gaming side, it earns a ton of airdrops. I think one just came out for YGG. Thanks to Larry Force for calling that out in the private group. But guys, if you haven't read this already, make sure you look at this because remember, the more you set yourself up early on, the better you're going to do. And making that move right now, right? Just saying, hey, you know what? Adam is trading somewhat flat over here. Like, do I want to be here or do I want to be in the exciting token that, people want to get into? And it's also self-correcting in the sense that as more airdrops come out, it's going to get more attention. People will be buying this up. And what we saw from today's airdrop, so NIM was the first to do the airdrop. And in fact, they were called out in this tweet a couple of days ago. You just go onto sort of their Twitter, and the first thing is their claim link, right? So you click on it. Once you click on it, and this is not the link, this is the eligibility. What I want you guys to see is if you go to Dimension, they said NIM's existence is made possible by Dimension, created the internet of roll apps, setting the stage for the future of modular and interlinked domain-specific chains. Dimension stakers can constitute the largest category in our airdrop, receiving 50 million NIM, 5% of the supply. All Dimension stakers were included, and we did some math in the private Discord. You got 1.1 NIM token for every Dimension you had staked. I think it was rounded up. So in fact, if you staked 1 Dimension token across like 100 wallets, I think you would have gotten 2 NIM. I'm not sure, but I haven't seen anyone got a fraction, and I don't imagine they would round down. So could be interesting. To be fair, it could also be 0.01 Dimension. I wonder what that would get you. Would be interesting to think about. But yeah, so if you click on the link, and this is what's really cool, you go to this, the claim link, you hit enter, you can claim for 13 days and 10 hours. So you can accept terms. They say connect wallet, but literally all you got to do is put in your wallet address. So I put my wallet address for one of them here, hit claim tokens, and it verifies. And it's just like what Dimension did. Okay, great. I'm eligible for 310 NIM. They're going to be transferred to this wallet at the TGE. No signing, nothing needs to happen. How cool is that? Like literally because of this, I do not need to go in and mess around. So it's pretty good. What is use a wallet? Okay, yeah, whatever. But that's really cool. So, I'm going to leave it that way. I think that's pretty neat. But guys, like this is something that I think you guys should focus on. Now, One more thing, I just want to do a quick reminder. Yesterday, I mentioned the Ninja Blaze NFTs. I mentioned, we mentioned these before, but what's happened is they are very close to passing the result. I believe once this passes, that people really start taking this seriously. Because remember, 10% at the TGE of this sort of token sale, not the token sale, but the sort of NFT holders, they get 10% of the tokens for this protocol. And because of it, I made a video on it. I'm sure that's not the only reason, but if you take a look, the floor price has went up. When I first posted about this in our private Discord, this was like around half the price, like 1.3 injective. When I made the video yesterday, it was 1.7 injective, and now it's 2.5. And I don't expect it to slow down. Like, look how many are listed, 102. I don't want to give up any of my NFTs if I'm going to basically get a ton of these tokens, right? And you also get a lot more benefits within the protocol. So, very interesting and something you guys should always be on the lookout for. What I hope you take away from all of these videos, regardless of whether or not you choose to follow any of the sort of advice or the strategy, is you've really got to be open-minded. You got to think about what's going on and ask yourself with every single change, how does this impact what I'm doing right now? How can I make sure that I set myself up for the future? And this is why, guys, I'm telling you, Atom was my favorite token last cycle. Top 3 favorite token. And the fact that I no longer stake it anymore, or I'm I still have to unstake it from the other wallets, but it's hard. It's really hard to do that because I think it's good. I think it's a good token. I love the ecosystem, and that's what Atom represents for me. It represents this entire ecosystem. But I really want to make the maximum amount of money this cycle. And the only way I can do that is by taking every opportunity I can. And while Celestia and Dimension have pulled back and Atom is doing nothing, I might as well capitalize on that by sort of moving into that, not really losing anything. 2.3% is nothing because literally I expect Celestia or Dimension to bounce, and these airdrops will really pay off. And then if I want to swap it later, like I said, if I'm in the bear market, I would rather have Atom because the tokenomics for Atom are much more solid. But in a bull market, this is more like a degen play, let's just say, right? Taking a sort of more speculative asset, very new that has about, 1/5 or 1/6 of its max supply or total supply out there. But I think it's the right call. So that's what I'm going to do, guys. Like I said, you choose what you got to do. Don't just listen to me, listen to what other opinions you're also hearing and make your own decision. Just be on the lookout because remember, we got like a year and a half to maximize, and then we're going to be back in the sort of thrones of pain and stuff. So make sure you make the most of it. With that being said, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. As Ocho said, make sure you like the video if you haven't already. Share this video with someone that you know. Subscribe to the channel because it helps. And we're going to jump over to the AMA. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.